In its quest to provide an open forum for discussion of controversial issues, this station allows hosts and their guests to express themselves without any significant censorship. You are advised that any view expressed by the host or their guest are not necessarily the views of the owners or management of TogiNet Radio, Togi Entertainment, or the Owners Group, Inc.
Motherhood Incorporated proudly presents Military Mom Talk Radio live on TogiNet.com. Co-hosted by Robin Boyd and Sandra Beck, the owner of Motherhood Incorporated. Military Mom Talk Radio is here with a powerful platform for women to discuss their ideas, issues, and concerns with respect to the military lifestyle. Military Mom Talk Radio encourages you to share your experiences of being a military wife and mother. This show is dedicated to educating your family about the many resources that are available in both the public and private sector, and we'll be sharing helpful information from women all over the world. We'll cover everything military, from helping a family member cope with post-traumatic stress disorder, to navigating government programs dealing with family issues, to the struggles of deployment, along with being a working mother both in and out of the home. This is Military Mom Talk Radio, and here are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with my fabulous co-host, Robin Boyd. Robin, it's hot here. It's at least 105 looking out my backyard.
Hi, Sandra. You're kidding. You know what? I have a sweatshirt on right now.
You're kidding.
I do. I've got a sweatshirt on because I am so chilled. It's a rainy day over here. We had a gorgeous weekend. It was really lovely. A beautiful New England weekend. The sun was lovely. It wasn't too humid. But today it's raining, and it's just got that little raw chill in the air. So, yeah, I got a sweatshirt on.
Wow, that's just it's just testimony to this great nation that we are lucky to live in. Just so many different, just so many different opportunities, and so much the topography, the everything. I just love our country, and today I'm feeling very patriotic. So you're going to find me all perked up for Military Mom Talk Radio.
Awesome, the way we should be every week. Awesome.
Well, I got some new books in this week. I love when our readers and potential guests send their books in, and just there's so many books to do with faith and deployment and being called to serve.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to encourage anybody listening today that if you have any desire to write a book, to create something, because one of the things that I find when we're on our radio show, Rob, and I know you'll back me up on this, is the people that are writing these amazing books are just everyday gals and guys with an idea, putting it together, and they create something spectacular.
Absolutely. And we are finding more and more. We're loving hearing from so many people who have already published something, but we also love hearing from people who have something in the works. And this is a wonderful way to spring the advance notice of these books coming out. So we really do love hearing from everybody. This is great.
And we love getting copies of books too.
Oh yeah,
I love that. I mean, it's like a surprise when I go to the Military Mom mailbox, and I open it up and I'm like, ooh, there's another package today. Like,
yay.
What kind of great read is it going to be? Or we're getting music coming in now. We're going to have some music to share with you guys in a couple episodes coming up that was created specifically for the military, and they want to debut it on Military Mom Talk Radio, which is super exciting.
So cool. So cool. We have so many opportunities for everybody out there, and I think it's just a matter of saying, I can do it. Just like that little book that I just sent you. It's just, you know what, I can do it. And it doesn't matter when, and it doesn't matter how long it's going to take, but I can do it. I'm going to get there, and I made it. And that's the end of that little story.
Well, and Rob, I want you to talk a little bit about that book, because, we were talking about this children's book, and you had asked if I'd read it to my kids, and I hadn't. And, and to my delight, when I opened up my regular mailbox on Friday, there it was. And it's such a great book, and you're right. It's has elements of like The Little Engine That Could, but in such a softer way, and it has it in a way that gives every kid their own time frame. So why don't you talk a little bit about that book and introduce it to our listeners today?
It's called Leo the Late Bloomer, and it's by Robert Krauss. Is it Krauss? I'm trying to remember who the author is. And he talks about this little lion who couldn't do anything right. He couldn't read. He couldn't write. And everything that he tried comes out not quite like everybody else. And his mother was just very patient, and she had faith and knew that this little guy was just going to make it someday. And he finally, in the end, makes it. And he's very proud of himself, and it didn't matter that he didn't read when all the other kids did, and it didn't matter if he was able to write when all the other kids, because whenever that little guy was ready, it was going to happen, and he was going to be great. And I think that's just such a great thing, even as an adult, to remember, because it doesn't matter if you're 25, 35, 45, 55 years old. If you want to pursue something new, you can do it, and it doesn't matter that somebody else did it on a different time frame. So if we have budding authors out there, go for it. It doesn't matter what time in your life it happens. It's time right now for you. Do it.
Right, time for you. And you're right, Robin. The author is Robert Krauss, and it's presented by HarperCollins. You can buy it on Amazon. They did not pay us to endorse this book. We just thought it was a super fabulous book. And, you know, Robin, just as a little aside, you know, I was talking to one of the moms on my other show. Here's my shameless plug for Motherhood Talk Radio that airs Tuesdays. Right, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Check it out. But I was talking to her, and we were talking about, like, diaper training and how, you know, when our kids are little, you know, we're so concerned about these benchmarks. And then, you know, until we get into our senior years, I don't see too many people walking around in diapers. Mm-hmm. So whether they get there at 18 months, you know, according, you know, to the idiot ex-girlfriend, or, you know, 48 months, which one of the people that is staying in my house right now, her daughter is still struggling. And I said to her, you know what, she'll get it. She'll figure it out. She's not going to be in diapers in 10th grade. You know, cut her some slack, you know, because everybody gets so stressed about when we should be doing things, and when we should be doing things is when we should be doing things, not by anybody else's time frame.
That's right. Yep. Definitely. So that's just one that's been in our family forever. We've had that little book around forever. So, and then, I mean, talking about launching into something, I thought that I would give you a little tip of out in the field that I found as we try to do every week. One of the things that I learned about, and actually this isn't news this week. It actually was launched in June of this year, a note from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, saying that Green Beret training is going to have an actual college program, so that if a person wants to continue and do like a little extensive Green Beret training, this will actually constitute an associate's degree, and that will matriculate right into North Carolina State College degree program. And they can go right into their junior year once they complete their service. And I just thought that was really interesting. It caught my eye quickly because my husband was a Green Beret. But it also is showing that the armed forces are realizing that this training that they are giving is just the beginning of what a person's future could possibly hold. And so people can take that and complete a training and go on to a college degree with it.
That is so great, Robin. That
Isn't
is so
it
great.
And then additionally, I noticed on the Department of Defense website, there is a website called TurboTap, and that's tangoalphapapa.org, which is a complete career development website. And I think our guest today, Koby Langley, is going to be able to probably give us a little more information about this, because at turbotap.org you're going to find a complete career decision toolkit giving you career exploration tips, financial planning, and more. There's a printable decision guide to help you decide what path you might want to take based on what you've been given for opportunities in the military. And there's other resources there, such as compensation and benefits information. information. So once again, that's TurboTap.org, and we'll have to ask Mr. Langley a little bit more about that.
You know what, Rob? Let's jump right in because, we do have today Koby J. Langley. He's the Special Assistant to the Office of the Secretary of Defense. We've got a lot of ground to cover today, so I think we should move on with the chit-chat and bring on Mr. Langley. Are you there? Do we have him here?
He should be there. We heard he was around.
Well, I heard he was wrong. I said maybe he's...
I am
there
on.
You are.
There he is. Welcome.
Better
Thanks,
late
Sandra.
than never.
Thanks, Sandra. Thanks, Robin. I really appreciate it. Well, I had you on mute, and, I just, wanted to make sure you guys weren't getting background noise, but, great to be here.
Yeah, we like to throw our guests on, at the last random minute, throw them offside, see how good the Department of Defense or the Secretary of Defense really
What's your
is.
quick response at the Department of Defense here?
So, briefly, we've got about 2 minutes before break. Can you explain to me what a special assistant does? Because it sounds awfully fancy.
Well, it's something a little bit more than an errand boy, but it's something less than than an executive director. One of the big heavy hitters in the Pentagon. What I really do on a daily basis is I try to keep the leadership informed as much as I can about some emerging policies and program areas that affect our wounded warriors and our military families. And I do a lot of coordination. I do a lot of identification of best practices. And I do a lot of advising on strategy and long-term policy, particularly as it relates for wounded warriors and military families.
You're kind of like a quality guy?
Kind of like a quality guy. I kind of just keep my ear to the ground and try to find really good stuff and bring it to the attention of leadership.
Like us. You can bring us to leadership. Really good stuff.
And that's why I'm here.
That's terrific. We're so happy to have you here today. For those of you who just tuned in, our guest today is Koby J. Langley. He's the Special Assistant, Office of the Secretary of Defense. When we come back from the break, we are going to have him answer some questions. We already have 2 callers on hold for this show, so it's going to be action-packed and filled with lots of information. And if you guys want to check us out on iTunes, we are available in iTunes France, Germany. We're available over in Japan. You can just type in Military Mom Talk Radio, and we come up. You can also check us out on militarymomtalkradio.com and hear our prior shows on toginet.com.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Fertility. It's an extremely personal subject. Tune in Monday nights at 9, 8 Central for the Fertility Forum with infertility psychotherapist and expert Phyllis Martin on TogiNet.com. This is the show about infertility, gaining support, and information. Phyllis will assist you in navigating the disappointments and decisions that often accompany the difficult journey from diagnosis to conception, pregnancy to parenthood. She is passionate about her work and is an expert in the donor egg field, bringing both her personal and professional experience to all she does. Ms. Martin has extensive experience in helping patients cope with infertility, pregnancy loss, adoption, surrogacy, miscarriage, pregnancy termination, and creative family building. She knows what you're going through, and she's here to help. It's the Fertility Forum with your host, Phyllis Martin, Monday nights at 9, 8 Central on TogiNet.com. Ready for the most current feel-good gossip? Then check out Daytime with Donna with your host, Donna Intracasso, and sidekick Nina Fry. Every Friday afternoon at 2, 1 Central on TogiNet.com.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest.
Donna is a charismatic, market-driven entrepreneur who was part of the team that founded iVillage.com, which is the largest content-driven community for women today. Donna and Nina are here to empower you, motivate you, and encourage you in all aspects of your life. It's like Oprah on the radio. Plus, your chance to win great prizes, all the way up to a $500 Visa gift card. For more on Donna Introcaso, check out her website, introinc.com. Then join us for the show, Daytime with Donna, with your host, Donna Introcaso, and sidekick Nina Fry. Friday afternoons at 2, 1 Central on TogiNet.com.
Put a boot in your ass, it's the American way. Hey, Uncle Sam, put your name at the top of his list, and the Statue of Liberty started shaking.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com. Covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Robin Boyd here today with Sandra Beck in a hot California and me in my sweatshirt. And we're here today with Koby Langley. He is from the Department of Defense. He's the Senior Advisor for Strategic Planning and Outreach in the Office of Wounded Warrior Care and Transition Policy. Where are you in the world, Mr. Langley? Are you on the East Coast or West Coast, or where are you?
Should we just make up, like, I'm going to bet Washington.
You think?
Koby, are you there?
I was thinking.
I am reaching out to you guys from the Pentagon.
No kidding. That's wonderful.
That's why the delay.
So you're probably getting a little bit of this rain too. I think it's right along the seaboard, the eastern seaboard, isn't it?
You know, it's been threatening a lot, but it seems like it's holding off. All I can do is hope that, I can run to my car and not get rained on. I don't have one of those fancy parking spots next to the Pentagon. So I'll be lucky.
Come on, the Special Assistant Office of the Secretary of Defense guy isn't going to melt in the rain.
Yeah. There you go.
Would think.
Well, it's great to hear from Washington. Mr. Langley, what is the National Defense Directory? Let's clarify that right here at the beginning, and then I know that we're going to have a gentleman named Dave ask us a question. So what's the NRD?
Sure. So the National Resource Directory is it's a website. It's actually a place that cultivates information for wounded warriors, service members, veterans, families, obviously, which is important to this audience, and caregivers, and also people that kind of help them for wounded warriors and support recovery, rehabilitation, and reintegration back into society.
I see. And who would be the generator of this information? Where does it derive from?
So it comes from a lot of different places, but it's populated by both federal, state, local government agencies. It has about 14,000 resources currently on it. You can find nonprofit resources and organizations there. You can find faith-based and community organizations on there. Schools, academic institutions, different professional associations, of course, veteran service organizations and military service organizations are on there as well. And
there's volunteers, there's housing, there's homeless assistance, there's family and caregiver support. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on here.
Yeah, well, what we did was we actually did a usability study and asked a few of the users what are the subject areas that they were most interested in, and those subjects came up. Benefits and compensation, education and training were huge. Family and caregiver support. We have information categorized by health, by transportation and travel, and just a generic any other services and resources as well.
I got to tell you, there's one thing missing on here that I'm looking through, if you want my opinion.
Absolutely. Give it to me.
Our show.
We need our show.
Military Mom Talk Radio on here because we bring all these directors. I was looking through all the stuff. We've had a lot of the different groups on that you guys talk about. We've had them on as our guests. So we're going to push you after the show to make sure we're listed in there so that our listeners can hear you.
I'll be looking for it. And,
great.
And it's actually a tri-agency website. So myself, along with partners from the Department of Labor and the Department of Veterans Affairs, manage the site and help update the content. So we're gonna talk about Military Mom Talk Radio our next meeting on Friday.
Awesome. Because we do like to bring, the best and the brightest of the services that are available, to the public. And we're, Robin and I do this out of the goodness of our hearts. And TogiNet sponsors this show along with my company, Motherhood Talk Radio, to bring it to the airwaves. And not to put you under any pressure on the air, but that's what I do, right, Robin?
Right. No pressure, but we want on by Friday. No.
There you go. All right, so we have a caller, Robin.
Yes,
you want to take him?
We have Dave. Dave, hello.
Hi, am I on?
Hi. Yes, you are. This is Military Mom Talk Radio. Where are you calling from, Dave?
I'm actually calling from Alexandria, Virginia.
That's wonderful. So you're over on the East Coast, too. We've got a little heavy on the East side here. So what is your question for Mr. Langley?
Well, first of all, thanks for taking my call. Going back to that National Resource Directory, with a lot of the military being younger and maybe more comfortable with, the ways that young people communicate, I was wondering what kind of social media presence or tie-in does the National Resource Directory have?
Wow, that's a great question. I'll tell you that even though the National Resource Directory kind of connects to all of these different resources and all of these different web platforms, we do a lot of outreach on social media platforms. So, for instance, we have a Facebook page, and you can find us there, National Resource Directory / the U.S. Army actually put a post on the Facebook page about the National Resource Directory in November asking fans to talk about it. We received thousands of likes from that, from that interaction. We're listening to the feedback that we get, and we think about new ways to connect people to resources. We'd love for everybody that's listening on Military Mom Radio tonight to actually become a fan of NRD and Facebook page. Tell your family and friends about it, and come visit us on Twitter.
Well, and you're also on LinkedIn, I see.
We are on LinkedIn, and we do a lot of discussions on LinkedIn about caregivers, employers, and other folks as well.
One thing... Oh, go ahead, Rob.
No, you go ahead, because I was just going to reinforce what that is on Facebook again. National Resource Directory is what we search on Facebook to find you?
That's the handle, and that's where you'll find us.
Great.
Great, and I just want to, make a statement really quick to those of you who are listening today on this National Resource Directory. One of the things that's really powerful, I think, that's right on the front page, and this is, we know that this is an issue that we're dealing with right now, but there's a suicide prevention and veterans crisis line that's right here on the front page, which is at 1-800-273-TALK. There's a call center for homeless veterans, a VA caregiver support line, and the Wounded Warrior Resource Center phone numbers are right on the front. So when you are, looking, I've gotten some emails over the years asking us, for these numbers. They are right there, right up front on the National Resource Directory, so you guys need to check it out.
That's awesome. Dave, I appreciate your call so much. Thanks for checking in with us, and say hi to Virginia for us.
Okay, thanks for having me on, ladies.
Take care.
Thanks, Dave.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
One of the things that I was wondering is, what are some of the resources that the NRD might have for military moms, specifically for spouses?
Sure. Believe it or not, we've got close to 1,000. We've actually got over 900 resources for families and caregivers alone, just in that one subject area.
Wow.
It talks about coping for things like coping with deployments. When I came back, I'm actually a two-tour combat veteran, and finding resources to help cope with the stresses of reintegrating back in the family is always really difficult to find. And so we've got over 900 resources that talk about things like that, as well as caring for wounded and injured. Financial assistance is always a big thing. You get deployed and you've got this huge paycheck, and when you get back home, it's not as huge, and sometimes you wonder where the money went. So we've got resources on there for things like that. Youth education, recreation, survivor benefits, lots of things on there for keeping children of military families engaged, a lot of recreation resources, things like that.
Well, and one thing I want to chime in real quick to let our listeners know today is that this resource directory, you don't have to sign up to get the information. There's forms, there's DOD benefits, there's filing claims, there's unemployment benefits. There's so much information in this National Resource Directory, and you don't have to sign up to get access to it. It's something you can just pop in, pick up the information. I know when we've talked about a lot of sites, Rob, over the past couple years, people are trying to capture emails and do all sorts of things, which is a pain, when you're looking for information, especially at 2 a.m. in the morning. And this is something that you can just go in and search by subject or audience, or, there's different checklists on here. I mean, it's really a great comprehensive site.
And I think we have talked with so many people that have been on the show before, and having that resource at any time or any time zone is so important, because you never know when you're just going to need to tap into that resource, and knowing that it's right there is wonderful. And I know we've had somebody from who was it that was with the education end of some of the
Nodia?
Nodia, that's right. It was the Nodia fellow that was on. It's wonderful to have sort of a central place to kind of tap in and say, all right, I'm getting deployed. We're going to be in Germany for 2 years. What am I going to do about my children's education? And to at least have a resource right there readily available to you is wonderful.
Well, and especially, when you talk about middle-of-the-night support, we find that, when you go through crisis, whether it's, crisis counseling has to do with your family, surviving something, or, being a caregiver to one of our servicemen or women, it hits you like 2 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't hit you a lot of times during normal business hours because you're so busy going and doing and running.
Sure.
And they have the Family and Caregiver Support Center under the National Resource Directory is really powerful. It not only covers family support, but caregiver support, children, youth, survivors, counseling, domestic abuse, and sexual assault. I mean, and it even covers money in that section because, that's what kind of freaks us out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an amazing resource. It's actually, if you go to the Family Caregiving 101 section, there's a list of steps to prepare for caregiving responsibilities. And you were talking about, late at night, well, if there's folks on there you can talk with, there's a chat board as well. And so you can talk with other family caregivers about your situation.
That's awesome. We have just a few seconds before we're going to go to another break, and we do have another caller coming in after the break, so we're going to want to make sure that we get to our next caller. We have Koby Langley today. He's the Senior Advisor for Strategic Planning and Outreach in the Office of Wounded Warrior Care and Transition Policy. And I'm laughing. I've designed business cards before, and I'm thinking, wow, we need
it's a mouthful.
What a mouthful. Nothing's worse than NACRA. NACRA's still the worst.
We'll be back with Mr. Langley after the brief message.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Everyday Autism Miracles with Shannon Penrod. Friday afternoons at 2, 1 Central on TogiNet.com. Life after an autism spectrum diagnosis doesn't have to be difficult. It can be joyful, happy, and filled with hope. Join Shannon Penrod, author, speaker, coach, and mom of a 6-year-old recovering from autism, for this inspirational hour of hope. She's even authored a series of children's autism books with her son, Jim. For more information about the books, Shannon, and Everyday Autism Miracles, go to her website, ShannonPenrod.com. From there, you can also get to her other websites, blogs, and connections. On Everyday Autism Miracles, you'll hear stories from parents whose children have made miraculous strides. You'll also get the inside dish on therapies, treatments, supplements, and how to get funding to help you afford them. Miracles abound in the autism community, so tune in for Everyday Autism Miracles to listen, share, laugh, and surround yourself with hope. Everyday Autism Miracles with Shannon Penrod. Friday afternoons at 2, 1 Central on TogiNet.com. It's time to capture the simple piece of the Amish in your own life. Amish Wisdom with Suzanne Woods Fisher. Thursday afternoons at 5, 4 Central. Each week, Suzanne will have conversations with guests about living a life that incorporates principles of the Amish without going Amish. She'll cover the practical, simplicity, slowing down, reducing clutter, putting the brakes on materialism, The historical. How have the Amish survived for 400 years? How can we hold on to what we hold dear? And the spiritual. Treasuring important values. Honoring the past. And increasing peace of mind. You don't have to become Amish to make personal peace a reality. Amish Wisdom will help all of us live a simpler life. For more information, go to SuzanneWoodsFisher.com. With Amish Wisdom, Suzanne offers us a glimpse into a world of peace, serenity, and total commitment to family and God. This show just might change the way you live your life. It's Amish Wisdom with Suzanne Woods Fisher. Thursday afternoons at 5, 4 Central on TogiNet.com.
There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com, covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sail at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd, and we've got a great guest today, Robin.
Awesome. This is so much information and so much fun.
Well, and you know, our guest today is Koby J. Langley, and he's walking us through the National Resource Directory, which has got all these new cool things on there. And I got to tell you, Robin, I was just playing. You know me, I cannot do I have to do 7 things at once. While we're on the radio. But I was playing with the State Widget Builder, which is part of the National Resource Directory, one of these new bells and whistles. And we have a caller on the line. I think his name is Brad. And Brad, you have a question.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. I did want to get a little bit more information about the state widget, as to how I might be able to get that onto a website for use for people that I work with. I work for a member of Congress, and I think that would be a great resource for our constituents.
That's cool. Hey, Koby, you want to answer that, or Robin?
Yeah, sure. I'll give it a first shot, and then since Robin was playing with it, she can tell us how it looks, and we can tag team this one. So if you actually go on the website, you'll see on the far right-hand corner it says Create a State Widget, and if you click on that, it'll actually take you to a subpage, and in probably less than 5 to 10 minutes, it'll allow you to actually choose the resources that you want to include in what I'll call a miniature version of the NRD, and it will allow you to search the resources by state. So if you're in a particular area or locale and you want to find resources related to caregivers in California or caregivers in New Hampshire, it'll actually list out all those resources for you, and you can embed it in your web page, whether it be a nonprofit web page or a talk radio web page or even just your own personal blog. You can easily just cut and paste the HTML code into it and drop it in. It's really pretty simple, and there's also a kind of a step-by-step 1, 2, 3 guide to help you guys do it. And we're making a big push for the state widget because we really want to have the community own the information. And we know, just like you all know, that it's not bringing everybody to you. It's sharing the information with the community and with the military families, and that's what we're trying to do. So really, if at the end of the day people don't come to our website, that's fine by me, just as long as they got the widget on their web and on their blog.
Well, and that's so cool, Koby, because, for those of you listening that may not know what a widget is, a widget's like a little application, like a little app that you can stick on a website. And for those of you playing along at home, you can go and customize this widget. It doesn't even take 5 minutes. I did it while you were talking, Koby. And you get to pick the color, light blue or dark blue. You get to pick your subjects, you pick your state, and then you pick your side, and then you literally just copy and paste. It's it's so easy. You just copy and paste the widget code right into the widget box that's available on your site, and it looks good. I got to tell you, I'm previewing, the widget box that'll show up. It looks good. Got a little flag, got, some things going on, going light or dark. I'm going to give it thumbs up. What do you think, Robin?
Oh, I think so. Although what I am trying to do is put it into WordPress, which is sometimes persnickety for iframe. And this happens to be an iframe code. So I think what I do need to do is just strip out the little iframe part and see if I can't create the widget. But I'll definitely make sure we've got a how-to. Because I think you're right. This is wonderful. Our caller, Brad, talking about putting this into this, you said it was a congressman's website. And this is definitely something that would be great for those constituents. And obviously something like ours, or something that maybe a National Guard has a blog or something, and they would want to put something like this. So I think this is a wonderful resource.
Well, and especially if we can get it everywhere, because the National Resource Directory is owned by we the people. It's information that, affects us. So to put it up, for people listening today, if you do serve the military, I know some of our sponsors are listening today, and I know some of our people that are regular guests serve the military. So to have these widgets put up on your site, so the National Resource Directory is at everybody's fingertips, because we know, like, when we're looking for something on the web, Google is really imprecise in delivering results. So the more we can put this widget up, different places to direct people to all the great information at the National Resource Directory, the better.
That's wonderful. I'm having trouble in WordPress, though, so we'll have to have specific directions on there for WordPress.
Okay, so
sure.
Koby, are you taking notes while you're on there?
I got it. I'm taking notes. And if you just send an email to info@nrd.gov, we will get you the HTML code for WordPress.
Yeah, it is different. And there again, WordPress.org is going to be different than WordPress.com. And the WordPress.com is the one that's is the free version, and that's because it's not server based. It's a shared server, and that's why it's a little bit different to put an iframe in there.
Well, and Koby, I bet when you came on to Military Mom Talk Radio, had no idea that the two hosts also run a tech company, but I'm getting the idea you do now.
Oh wow! I think I'm in over my head. I'm just taking courses on communications and new media at Georgetown, and so I'm thinking I'm a little bit over my head now.
I'm sorry, we totally outmanned you on that one. But when you get girls together, with good brains and a lot of tech smarts, that's what you're going to get.
Well, I tell you what. Then you'll at least appreciate the fact that we have a mobile version of the NRD, and you can look on it. You can now view the NRD in a very simple 5 or 6 frames on your iPhone or on on your in any smartphone actually. And we just added that feature after usability study about 3 months ago.
So does it automatically recognize the iPhone app coming in and go to Mobi, or do you have to select Mobi?
Nope, you've got to select Mobi, but you only have to do it once. And if you do it once, then it remembers it somehow, and every time you pull it up on your phone, you're going to get the mobile version.
Yeah, it's like a VIN number on a car. It's tracking I'm on it right now because that's what we do here. Yeah, very cool. I can see it. It's very good. You can pull up the National Resource Directory, and there we go. Nope, got to tell you, not giving me a Mobi version. Testing it on the iPhone, live on the air. Sorry to put you in the hot seat. But it is giving me the National Resource Directory that maybe goes direct to the Mobi version, but it doesn't say Mobi version, so I can't tell.
Yeah, it'll look significantly different. It's probably about 5 or 6 different buttons as opposed to the entire web page. You do have to select it on the website, though.
Yeah, you know what it did? It recognized my iPhone.
Oh.
Awesome.
There we go.
There
Got hot water on that one.
So let's make sure that we repeat this website, because I don't think we actually said, is it nrd.gov, or is it National Resource Directory.gov, or is it both?
It's actually both. So if you go to, we're trying to get more people to use the nrd.gov address just because it's easier to use, but you can reach it either way.
Wonderful, wonderful. NationalResourceDirectory.gov or NRD.gov. That's awesome.
Hey, Koby, what's the most popular section on the site? Is it like the pay scales, the pay grades, and benefits and compensation? Like when you look at your web, when you look at your web traffic, what are people searching for the most?
Our number one most search resource is education, training, and employment. So
Really?
those two, education and training is on one, and employment is on the other. And then shortly after that, it's health, and then of course a lot of searches on PTS and TBI. Family, caregiver, and support is usually ranks around 3 or 4, but education, training, employment are always number 1.
Wow, interesting. Is that because of the GI Bill or the DoD education programs or scholarships? I mean, what do you think is driving? What do you think is driving that over employment, or is employment and education training about the same?
I honestly, I just think it's the one thing that's always most important to military families when you're looking for resources, and that's what other jobs are out there, what other job training is out there, what other resources are out there to help improve my education. I think it's just the nature of the economy that we're in right now, and I don't think that military families are exempt from that, unfortunately. But we've got a lot of great resources. You mentioned TurboTap.org. The Career Decision Toolkit is on there that will help walk really anybody, military family member, spouse, or service member, step by step through assessing their current financial condition, their current educational condition, their future goals, and help prepare them for creating things like resumes, interview questionnaires, and responses. It helps decipher a lot of the military lingo for our different occupational codes and MOSs and things of that nature. So it does a lot. There's a lot of resources out there, and these are important times for employment and education, and I think our user search reflect that.
Well,
in the 2
minutes
before our next break, one question that I do have: Will a veteran who is not just recently reintegrated into civilian life find resources on this website? Or I think about veterans who have been veterans for a number of years, who have served maybe 10 or 20 years ago. Will they find things there as well?
They will, absolutely. It covers the entire spectrum of service member, wounded warrior, military families, caregivers. So they'll find resources on there. Like I said, it's co-managed by the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Department of Labor. So you can imagine there's a lot of content and a lot of information on there about the services for veterans and employment services from the Department of Labor, and of course the full gambit of resources and services for active duty service members and military families.
That's wonderful. So many resources are available, and I just think that it's wonderful because 20 years ago, this kind of resource just wasn't out there. And now that it is, I just think that it's wonderful, but it's also great that we're also reaching out to the ones that didn't have these kinds of resources 20 or 30 years ago. My name's Robin Boyd, and I'm here with Sandra Beck, my co-host, or I'm her co-host, or we're just a great team sometimes.
We're a great team anyways, like this.
We're going to be right back after the break. More with Koby Langley after these messages on Military Mom Talk Radio.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Mark Lipinski is coming to TogiNet. It's Creative Mojo with Mark Lipinski, a live 2-hour show Wednesday afternoon starting at 3, 2 Central on TogiNet.com. Creative Mojo. It's fun, entertaining, informative, inspirational, and illuminating. Lipinski has worked on such shows as Oprah, The View, The Joan Rivers Show, and Ricky Lake. He's busy, but he's got the drive to share with Creative Mojo, dedicated to the modern crafter and crafting lifestyle. Dive into the info and enjoy everything from celebs to entertainment news to recipes, quilting and needlework, knitting, painting, woodworking, Christmas crafts, and so much more. This show boldly encourages you to discover and harness your own creative spirit by living creatively every day. For more on Mark and the show, check out marklipinski.com. Don't miss the fun. It's Creative Mojo with Mark Lipinski, Wednesday afternoon starting at 3, 2 Central on TogiNet.com. Join us for Self-Aid Success Stories with Helen Wu, Wednesday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet.com. Helen Wu was born and raised in San Francisco's Chinatown, and after a very difficult upbringing, fighting depression, abuse, and addictions, she finally finds herself genuinely happy inside and out. Helen believes in taking our positive thinking and doing something positive to achieve a positive outcome. She's here to make a positive difference in your life, to be your game changer, your aha moment mentor. She's ready to help both men and women get into a better place. Helen Wu is also the author of Self-Aid Success Stories, 25 Success Stories from Successful Entrepreneurs. Inspired by Ellen DeGeneres, Helen wants the world to know that just because we find ourselves in a difficult situation doesn't mean we have to stay there. We can aid ourselves to a better life. So join us for Self-Aid Success Stories with Helen Wu, Wednesday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet.com.
Put a boot in your ass, it's the American way. Hey, Uncle Sam, put your name at the top of his list, and the Statue of Liberty started shaking.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com. Covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sail at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I want to give you a sneak preview of who we're going to have next week. We're going to welcome Lisa Cypers Kamen. She's a positive psychologist, and she is the owner of this great 501(c)(3) pending organization that is harvesting happiness for heroes. And I want to put a shout-out to Fuzzy Manning out in Michigan, who is doing wonderful work with his PTS show. He is post-traumatic stress, does not believe it's a disorder, believes he can help doing the PTS episodes with some alternative therapies. I would encourage you guys to check out his show on Blog Talk Radio. He's a very, very neat guy and been a great support of our radio show. And Lisa Cypers Kamen, another one, supporting our wounded warriors coming back with some positive psychology to help people live the best life that they can.
Fuzzy Manning's also going to be on Harvesting Happiness Talk Radio in a few weeks right here on TogiNet.
Robin, that's great. Small world.
She airs on Wednesdays, and it's 9 a.m. Pacific and 12 noon on the East Coast.
Outstanding. So, I said a brain cramp. Our guest today is Koby Langley, and he's talking about the National Resource Directory, which is funny, Rob, because I remember in the very beginning when we were doing our show starting our show a couple of years ago, I remember going to this site thinking, I don't even know where to begin. And it was First Sergeant Hoffman over at Wounded Warriors Battalion West was saying, hey, the family counselors and stuff like this all use this site. He's like, go on there, you'll find a bunch of guests. And, of course, true to form, I did not do it. Sorry, First Sergeant Hoffman, but thank you for that advice anyway. And, a year and a half or almost 2 years later, I'm, blushing over here thinking, wow, yeah, I should have, gone through this more, fine-tuned than I did.
But that just means everyone's going to stay tuned for the next 2 years because we obviously have a full bank of all kinds of people we can bring here on Military Mom Talk Radio.
We do. We have a big bank of information that we can share with everyone. What's kind of fun about this site too, Rob, is that it covers everything, and maybe this was in the beginning why I got a little bit overwhelmed. It covers like recreation and sports, pet adoption, the American Freedom Foundation. It's just got so much on here. I think you need a glass of wine an evening to sit down and really start rolling through this because, I was poking at the site map. The site map is some serious site map. I mean, it's got to be, 8-9 pages long.
Wow.
And, and everything is, organized by state and terrain. I mean, it's really actually an easy site to navigate. I feel kind of silly now not having crawled over it sooner.
Well, with all of that information that is there, Koby, how do you screen resources to have this extremely jam-packed resource for everybody?
Well, we try not to discourage people recommending resources, and we really try to get the community involved, and like I said, have it owned by the people. So, if folks have resources that they'd like to share, if you go on the front page, you'll see a link on the right-hand side that says suggest a resource. Anybody can suggest a resource, but in order to be listed, the resource actually has to have the support of the Department of Defense, Labor, and Veterans Affairs mission to provide continuity of quality of care and services for wounded warriors, service members, veterans, families, and caregivers. So the resource has to actually provide a service to wounded warriors, service members, veterans, military families, and or caregivers.
Where is the suggest a resource? Oh, there it is, right at the bottom. Because you know what I'm going to suggest, Koby. Get one guess.
Yes, I got it. But that's just one. That's just one. But once you get through that first gate, we do a monthly screening. It's very important for us to ensure that we have the trust of the people that use the site, particularly for military moms who don't have a whole lot of time. Really want to know that what they're looking at is legitimate. All non-government resource organizations have to meet the validation requirement. They have to complete a self-certification form, and we also screen to make sure that they're legitimately a part. If they're listed on the Better Business Bureau, what the report is. They have to be properly listed with the IRS, and we always look at Cherry Navigator as well.
So how long a process is this? If somebody were to submit something, this sounds like it's going to take forever before we'll ever see it on the site, or is that not so?
No, we've committed significant resources to this, and it's really what makes it different from a lot of other just aggregators where anybody can just kind of go in and just say I'm doing great things for veterans. So we commit a lot of resources to it. We do a screening every quarter, and we go through them painstakingly. And some folks don't make the cut and drop off, but it's all a part of making sure that we're serving our military community to the best of our ability.
Wow.
Well, and you bring that up, Koby, because, I see that a lot. We get a lot of people coming in from around the country and even some overseas groups, and they come so quickly and they go so quickly, because of funding and the way the economy's going. That's got to be, a challenge to make sure that there is, kind of quality controls and checkpoints on your site for all this information. How many people put together to do this?
It really is a challenge. It takes a team, and we've got a great team of folks behind the scenes that are working it. And a lot of it is also now going to be self-regulated. We just added a feature, an Angie's List style. I don't know if I can say that or not, but it's an Angie's List style, kind of vote up, vote down resource for people that are using it. Now, for that function, you do kind of have to register and sign on and create an account and a profile. But once you do that, you can actually share your own opinion about the resource. Was it helpful or was it not helpful? So there's a lot of, I'll call it self-vetting that goes on as well, or hopefully will go on. We just added the resource about a month ago, and it looks like some folks are using it, but I know it's going to be a big part of making sure we've got the best possible resources out there for our military moms.
That sounds so great. What about broken links or websites that may have been very active a year or so ago, but perhaps are now defunct? Does that get pulled off on a regular basis?
It does, and so a part of the fun part of my job is, like I said, we meet every week with our great team for the Department of Veterans Affairs and Department of Labor, and our IT team and our outreach team, and every day we go through and look at the report. Every week you go look at the report and make sure those dead links are taken off there. And if you find a dead link, there's an easy way to report it. Or if you would rather just send an email, you can send an email to info@nrd.gov. And
are you guys using Inspider? Are you guys using Inspider to check your site for links?
We do.
That's an awesome site. It's a great program.
Yeah. I know there's a couple of different sites that I use for resources, and unfortunately you'll see, that's just what I need. Click, and it's gone, or redirected, and the link is broken. So that's wonderful that we know that we're probably going to find the most current information right there on the NRD.
We try our best. We really do.
Yeah. Do you ever get out in the field? It sounds like you have a very administrative-based job. Do you ever get out and meet some of the veterans or see some of the people that you're serving?
You know, I try to get out as much as I can. I visit a lot of the hospitals here in the area. You know, I don't get out as much as I'd like to be completely honest with you. But you know, I've got my own military mom at home. We've got, you know, a brand new 4-week-old little girl that you know that I'm taking care of right now. Learn how to change diapers along with the best of them. So hopefully I'll be able to get out more.
Well, it's just going to be one of those offices that has the little mobile on top of your desk, and there's going to be a diaper bag and a briefcase and a ledger and everything else all in one. If moms can do it, dads can do it.
Absolutely. Well, I was looking, I'm still poking around on your site because, you know, the tech head in me has to come out with this stuff, but I'm poking around in your RSS feed, and what's really cool, RSS is the real simple syndication, and that allows us to bring updates right into either our inbox or to pull it into our site, Robin, which you know I'm going to ask you after the show to make sure. But what's very cool is you can subscribe to, like, not just all updates, because there's a lot of information between, you know, homeless assistant, transportation, education, housing, health, employment. You can choose which RSS feed you want to fill, and then you can also choose, you can subscribe to that information that only applies to your home state, because we know, like, a lot of different benefits, a lot of different programs are, you know, only offered or funded by the state. But you guys also deal with the U.S. territories of America Samoa, Puerto Rico, Guam, Virgin Islands, and the North Mariana Islands, which I think is really rocking, because a lot of times when you decide to get an RSS feed coming either into your inbox or into your website, you know, you get everything but the kitchen sink. And kudos on allowing us to choose what we want to pull in.
Absolutely. It's a huge feature, and you know, we want to make sure that it's current and people receive information that's relevant to them where they are in the most meaningful and helpful way. One of the things that's coming down the road is we're gonna put a locator map on there, you know, Foursquare style, where you type in your zip code and you'll get a little map of all the resources. So we're trying to make it as user friendly as possible, as relevant as possible. We've got approximately 130,000 visitors per month, and that's unique visitors per month, and well over 20,000 subscribers. So the more the merrier.
Wow. That's wonderful. We want to just reinforce that website. It's nrd.gov, or if you want to spell it all out, it's nationalresourcedirectory.gov. We have had Koby Langley. He's the Senior Advisor for Strategic Planning and Outreach in the Office of Wounded War Care and Transition Policy. Koby, thanks so much for being our guest. We just have learned so much. We appreciate your time, and this is Military Mom Talk Radio. Join us next week with Lisa Kamen and Harvesting Happiness for Heroes. See you next week, Sandra.
All right, Rob. Have a good one. Thanks,
you
Koby.
too.